Hi, folks.
Hey there, folks. Sorry about that little
Hello.
wait. All right. So we are very, very excited to be able to host today's Q&A with a few of our wonderful team here at Code Coven, as well as the wonderful team of Wings. So the structure of today's event is we're, all excited to be able to take these questions that you might have for applications regarding the upcoming Elevate event. Applications are currently open. They will be closing soon. So we want to make sure that if there's any questions that are keeping you from, finally, wrapping up that application or feeling ready to submit it all, that we get those all answered for you. But without further ado, I wanted to quickly take some time to go through the different panelists. And let's go ahead and start off with the Code Coven team. Mylea, if you don't mind doing a quick intro.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mylea. I'm the PR and marketing coordinator at Code Coven, and I'm here to just kind of help facilitate, but also answer any questions that I feel like I can chime into. And yeah, I'll toss it over to Sherveen.
Yeah, hi, everyone. I'm Shaveen. I'm the head of curriculum here at Code Coven, and pronouns are he, him. And yeah, if anyone has any particular questions about like course materials or the curriculum itself and that kind of aspects, I'm happy to talk to that as well. And I'll throw it. Tara, do you want to introduce yourself, or should we move immediately to Wiggs? No. Okay. Tara is our like founder, leader in chief. I will throw it to Eliana if you want to go next, maybe.
I love like the summarized emoticon, like emoji answers from Tara. But yes, as Shavin said, I'm Eliana. I'm CEO of Wings. I also am the CEO of a game development hub in Sweden called Game Habitat. And I also run a game hub, a co-working space for game developers called Dev Hub. So it's like a few hats, but today I'm here like on behalf of Wings. I'm very excited to get the, this first event regarding our Elevate program. And yeah, just excited to hear from the people who have interest in applying. And then if you have any questions about Wings or about the program as a whole, I'm here to give you some answers if I can. And with that, I'm gonna introduce I'm gonna pass the voices to my colleague, Karina.
Thanks, Eliana. So happy to be here. My name's Karina. I am sort of the head of communications over at Wings. I also have a lovely part-time job where I do marketing for a studio called Mighty L. But again, here today for Wings to support this awesome program that we are super excited to get back up and running, Elevate 2023. So yeah, here to answer any questions that Eliana maybe can't. I doubt that will happen. But yeah, anything sort of Wings related or related to the program, we're super excited to talk about today.
Perfect. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit more of an open forum. So if there are any questions that you've had, on mind coming into the session, feel free to go ahead and just, emo with a Zoom reaction, and then I'll be able to call on you, and then we can have you post your question, and any of the panelists that are ready to answer your question will go ahead and pick it up. And if the questions are starting to slow down a little bit, then we'll go to a few of the community submit questions, things about the program that might be able to, help you in your endeavors for finishing up the application. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and open up the floor if we have anyone that is ready to ask any questions. Perfect. Yeah, Caroline.
Can you hear me all right? Cool. Yeah, I think my main question was with the prototype. I know the accelerators for mobile games. Does the prototype have to be available, ready for mobile straight away? Because we're partway through, we have a prototype for a PC game that we're going to pivot to mobile. So we don't know kind of whether we should prioritize that kind of mobile UX before submitting.
I missed the it's like Zaggy, are you gonna pick when, so we just go ahead and start answering?
You just go ahead. Anyone that feels ready on the panel. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Caroline. Thanks so much for the question. Very good question. I think the prototype itself for us is more like as a way that we like just have something playable. so that we can get like our committee to check and have a look. I would imagine that it's fine to be, correct me if I'm wrong, people from Code Coven as well, but it's fine if you have like everything else, so like the pitch and the budget, and then something playable available for PC for now, but with the intention to be mobile. It's just good to know that this program is specific. The Elevate is going to be for mobile games, so that's what we are more interested. So the whole budget and everything would be just for the mobile only development.
Yeah, I think I'd second that. I don't think that we'll have any issues with like a prototype currently being a PC build, as long as the intention is clear. Yeah, the fewer barriers I think we can have to like you being able to submit a strong application, I think the better. So I'm happy to support that on our end. I don't know what the specifics will be, but I think it should be like no issue from a Code Coven standpoint.
Awesome, that's great to know. I mean, we have also UX designs for mobile, so it's just like implementation. So it's great if we can, yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Oh, that would be great to add that to your pitch application. Yeah, whatever you already have developed for mobile.
All right, it looks like we have a question in chat from Annabelle, and the question is for the prototype, does it need to be a completed game?
No, I don't think so. I think prototype is self-describing there. I don't think we're looking for anything that's complete. I think from my standpoint, I think what makes the prototype helpful for us is being able to understand like what your goals are for the for this particular project that you're submitting, and how we can help move you towards those goals. I think in terms of the Code Coven side, that's very helpful. But I also make prototypes, and I also understand the realities of like where your prototype is versus what your vision is, you know, for your project. So I would say that if you feel like any elements are missing from your prototype, my advice would be to make sure to like speak to that very clearly, like in as clear terms as you can in like your other materials that you have, so that we can just have the clearest picture. Like I want to make sure we're on the same page with you when we're making decisions about your application.
Yeah, I can add to say that it is completely fine to be, as Shavin said, very early, because with the program, like we tend to help you to forward that, you know, your pitch and your prototype to be ready to pitch, like to investors or publishers. So it is fine to be an early prototype or early build, as long as Shavin said, like you can add some information that you are aware, you know, something that perhaps how you envision that to be, what is actually quality or what you want to achieve by the end of this, like when the game is ready. For us, it's just important that we just have something that can convey what your intentions are with the game, because sometimes just like by writing on pitch, it's a bit harder to know what the game actually is. So as long as the prototype has like your core, you know, mechanics, like the core of what you want with the game, that's kind of what you're looking for. It doesn't need to be polished, not to be like super high polish or anything like this.
Excellent. Then are there any other questions from the audience, or should we turn to Mylea for a few community questions?
I think we can jump in with the community questions, and then if anyone else has any additional questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or raise your hand and unmute. So one of the community questions we received is like, who is the ideal candidate for this program? What sorts of skills should they have, and what should they be looking to learn?
Okay, I can speak to this from at least from my point of view. So I think every time we do a Code Coven program, we like have a discussion about who this particular course is for, both like for folks in our community to know why they would apply to one program or the other, and also just to help us with like making decisions about the program. And I think with Elevate, the thing that I've been trying to go back to repeatedly with how we're positioning this program is, I think initially Elevate came out of GDC and is kind of related to that as a conference, you know, during 2020 when folks weren't able to go to GDC during the pandemic, and trying to take folks who had missed out on those opportunities and like elevate your projects. So I think when I approached it from a curriculum standpoint, it was really all about what sorts of opportunities do folks get out of game conferences like GDC, and what sorts of opportunities can we like emulate or provide to folks that aren't really able to attend those conferences, whether it's for you know, continued pandemic reasons or just like typical access, those kinds of things. I think this year, like a big thing is also just an interest in the mobile space, and then we are partnering with Netflix. I think that's also a really good thing in terms of like being interested in that space and like types of opportunities that you could do by working with games with Netflix, because I think typically when we work with sponsors, there is more we can do to just like, you know, chat about your project and like pitch projects to things like that. So I think having that alignment, of which I think with mobile and then that Netflix space, there's a lot of overlap. That's very, very useful. So I'll throw that to folks in advance so y'all can be thinking about that. But no, I think in terms of the ideal candidate, I think it's like you have your projects, you want to you know, move forward to them, find opportunities and like be able to like move forward essentially with your development timelines. Like the way I think about it is, why if you're in a stage, I think, where you would want to go and chat with folks at a conference about your game and see like what you want to do and get more opportunities, I think that is a good way to think about being in a good place for Elevate, from my understanding of it, at least.
Great. Thank you so much. That was a really helpful response, I think. Caroline has a question in the chat that says, I'm curious about Netflix's role in this program. Is there an opportunity to pitch to them, or do they act as mentors / guides or something else?
Yeah, I can take that one. So I think as we mentioned before, like the program Elevate is organized by Wings, and then we get collaboration with Code Coven to deliver the program and the curriculum. And then Netflix is a sponsor to the program. And that's why as well we decide to do this version of the Elevate focused in mobile games, because that's ultimately like what they're looking for right now. But they don't have just the role of like sponsor and completely like outside. They're actually very interested to have like contact with the cohort and with the people participating in the program. So we are like building together curriculum where they would participate. They would forward some of their team to help with like workshops, you know, mentorship. So within the program, you would like the participants, they would have like contact with different experts in the industry. So in the form of talks. So sometimes you would just have like lectures, sometimes it would be a workshop. Sometimes you're going to have as well like a mentors specifically for different stages of the game. Like you have like some people working with the play testing, some people like checking your milestones. So there are like different people that are going to get involved as part of the program that's even outside Wings and Code Coven team. So it's a very rich program in that sense. And then Netflix will be part of that. So right now we have like some exciting ideas of perhaps having like 3 workshops. But then like once it's all confirmed, like the participants would get like more information, exactly like the dates and the activities that would be part of it. Also, Netflix has been collaborating with Wings for some time. And then we have like people from Netflix as part of our selection committee, as part of our board. So currently we have Eliane, that is one of the people that are going to be doing the workshop during the program. And she's also part of Wings selection committee already. So yeah, we have that close collaboration. When it comes to, I think when you said opportunity to pitch to them, the idea is that as part of the program, we will have like some pitch training. And then with that, we're going to have opportunities to pitch to different people, including like Wings and Netflix as a training and in order to receive feedback, of course. But when it comes to like funding, that is like something separate. So that would be basically not connected to the program itself. So this is just for the program for training and pitch to get sure that your pitch is ready to whoever you want to pitch later, whoever investor or publisher. But you're gonna of course get firsthand feedback.
Yeah, so this program will be great for not only practicing with creating a prototype, but also practicing your pitching. So yeah, there are some great opportunities there with Netflix. Is the fund for one team or multiple teams? We'll be selecting multiple teams. The funding won't just be for one team.
And so I don't understand when you say like the fund. Is it like you mean the stipends that we are offering?
Yeah, I think the question is like, are we giving like a one big stipend to one team, or are we giving a stipend to multiple teams, which we are selecting multiple teams. Yeah,
I see. So yes, we are giving to multiple teams. Actually, like it's like we receiving many applications, but in the end, we're going to select 10 teams to be part to form the cohort for the Wings Elevate program. And then the teams, they can vary in size. But the stipend that we announced of $10,000 is per team. So then we want to see that your budget, that you take into account that the 10,000 is divided by your members.
Yep. Thank you for that clarification, Eliana. One question that we keep getting is, can you apply as a solo developer? And I know that we've specified on our website that ideally the team is composed of 2 to 5 people, but I guess I'd just like to get some more clarification on, is a solo developer application even like possible, or will it be like an auto reject?
We discussed a lot that internally, actually, because I don't think we had like any hard decision. We decided to have it open. So that's why we say ideally, because we believe that the team between 2 and 5 is like what they can kind of like gain the most, I would say. And then also like the budget and all the production involved with the curriculum were like designed for that in terms of size. So we make sure that everyone can get enough, one-to-one attention with the mentors. So that we were thinking a lot about bigger teams, right? Like, so to make sure, since it's 10 teams, and if each team were like, 20 people, then perhaps it would be hard for us to manage. And also we believe that with the 10,000 budget, we want to see budgets that cover salaries and the development, and perhaps other costs that you may have with licensing and so on. So we thought that bigger than 5, it could be hard, but we are, accepting anyway. So you are welcome to submit. And solo devs, I think, is the same. It's just because we were thinking a lot in teams, and then you were thinking like, yeah, I mean, you can still be one person, but I would say we are looking more for 2 to 5, but you are welcome to apply even if you're a solo dev or if you are more than 5. Just take in consideration the criteria that we have. Perhaps we should go through the criteria as well, and the budget for this then.
Thank you for that answer. We've received that question quite a lot, so this will be good to be able to point them towards as an answer. Next question is how does Elevate differ from other programs such as the Game Developer Program and the Solstice Program? This is more of a Code Coven question. I think.
Code question. Yeah, I can speak to that. So I would say the key differences. One, so some of our programs don't require like predefined teams and projects. Elevate does, so you should already have a team and a project, and that's required as part of your application. I think the difference, I would say, is in one, the outcomes and the goals, and also the, I guess, overall structure of the program. So with some of our other programs, Game Developer and Solstice as comparisons, Game Developer program doesn't require like a game or project at the start. Solstice does, but both of those assume you are beginning development at the start of both of those programs, and I think that's a big difference between Elevate. And I think the name is very helpful there. So I think Elevate is assuming that you are working on a project, you're moving along, and then you're coming into this program as an accelerator, so to like elevate you and give you more opportunities that you can then continue development after the course at a like with improvements and like more opportunities. I think that's the big difference that I think is the most helpful. I think based on that, like you're also going to get a sense of the type of like lectures and content and like playtesting sessions, those kinds of things. It's less of a like curriculum that is aimed at like building foundational skills, and I think it's more of getting you the knowledge that is like helpful for you like to continue your development or to be in the right rooms and opportunities going forward. I think those kinds of things. So like the pitching skills, I think, is a good example of that. We won't necessarily cover that in some of our other courses because it's less of a game creation subset, for example. So I think there's a lot more opportunities to learn some of the more like logistical or biz dev or pitching, those elements as well. Yeah, I think those are the things that come to mind for me today, at least.
Isn't like, if you just add to that, isn't it as well the Solstice and the game developer program, they're not mobile focused, right? Or
they're not. That is, yes. Actually, that's true. That's true. The fact that it's mobile focused, for some reason that doesn't like immediately come to my mind, but that is a very big difference. Yeah. Solstice hasn't been mobile focused, at least not like in the past. And game developer program probably
It was once.
It was at once, so
it
could be again, but I don't know. I think but I think the fact that it's mobile focused is also a really good point in terms of what our other courses might not be. Yeah, no, thanks you for that, Galiana. It's really helpful.
No, I mean, this is the same for Elevate, right? So it's like, this is the second edition of our Wings Elevate, and the first edition wasn't mobile focus. It was for PC as well. I'm not sure if Corina was probably no more than me, if it's PC and console or for just PC.
It was primarily PC, although I think some teams had multiple platform ambitions. But no, I think it was primarily PC.
Exactly, because it really spawned from, as Shervin mentioned a bit earlier, from the like a relief for GDC. So once COVID, hit us, like a lot of developers couldn't go, and then also like there was problems with like a reimbursement and so on. So we managed to get a fund together and run the Elevate as an alternative for those developers. But for this 2023 edition, we're going to be focusing mobile. And then again, it doesn't mean that the next year is going to be the same. It's just that this edition is specific is mobile, but in the future, we could go back to other platforms or all platforms. So we will be, I guess, changing there as well. And I think another thing that I was thinking is, yes, is about the criteria. So I think Shavin already mentioned a little bit about the difference. Like if the Wings Elevate, we are looking perhaps for people who already have already a project that they wanna develop, like that they wanna, how to say, like, yeah, forward to be pitch ready, as we say. So as part of the criteria, we have things that we want as well to look at teams that have experience working together, that have experience already developing games together, be it that even if it's just like had the, some prototypes of projects that they done together for a game jam, or if they are already a studio, or if they had collaborating other projects together. I think that we also, in the format of the curriculum now, is important that you already have a team. So not that you come as a solo developer and get matchmaked in the program. And also that is comprised of 60% or more of members of marginalized genders. So that's why I also mentioned, like, when you're getting like the size of your team, it's important to take that in consideration, that the members are 18 years old, older. And then they have as well the ability to commit to at least 15 hours per week during the programs. I think as well, perhaps, I'm not really sure, I know the Code Coven, other programs, perhaps they vary in length, but for the Elevate is 4 months. So it's also good to be aware of that, the length.
Thank you. I think that marked out the differences pretty well between the programs and gave a bit more insight on that. So thank you. This is a last question. What would you consider to be the most exciting part of this program?
I think everyone has to answer that one, like everyone that's here, including the participants. I don't know who should start. Shavin looks ready.
I can go. I think for me, the things that I'm excited about are, one, so I think when we were initially like coming up with the curriculum overview for this, and kind of tying it back to that like idea of like GDC opportunities, we went and kind of brainstormed a bunch of potential like guest lecture topics, kind of trying to be like, okay, what can we do in terms of the types of knowledge you get at those kinds of conferences, and how can we add like our own spin on it? So I think that like looking at where the direction those are going, I'm very excited about getting the different guest lectures, getting folks in from like sourced by us, sourced by Wings, sourced by Netflix. I think that's a really fun thing that we don't typically always get to do with some of our other programs, is kind of collaborate a bit more on some of those sessions and sourcing them. That's one thing I'm very excited about. I think the Netflix partnership is very, very cool in terms of like having them really want to be involved. I'm always trying to figure out, are there ways for us to get like projects in and like, get folks to get things that are easier to like interact and interface with our sponsors. So I think like being able to get folks opportunities for that is something I'm like looking forward to like figuring out on my end more as well. I think also it's always fun. I really like a lot of the projects that we get for all of these, in terms of like especially like when for a mobile focused course, especially, I'm always really excited because I think our community and the folks that like apply for these types of programs tend to always like impress me with like all of the different like applications that we get. So even a lot of the applications that don't get moved forward, I think aren't usually because they're like weak applications or things like that. We actually typically get very strong applications for our programs. And that's just a personal thing that I'm excited about, is seeing all the games y'all submit, because I think it always kind of reaffirms my excitement for games and like why I make things. So I think, yeah, those are the three things I would say.
They're great things. I can go in a second. I don't know if it's okay, and then maybe Corinna go next. I was gonna say that just because I have to leave as well. So, but I was gonna say that yes, I second everything that has been said. I'm also very excited that to be, like working with Code Coven and Netflix, because Code Coven, like we have, is such a line mission. And then, I mean, even though it's the second edition that we're doing, it's my first time since I joined Wings that I'm doing Elevate. So this is very cool. And again, so many experts involved in the program to support us and to share the expertise. I think is really a great opportunity, like for anyone, like just to get this knowledge from both organizations, but as well like Netflix and the other people that are going to join the program. And I also like on Wing side, I'm just very excited because generally we receive a lot of applications for funding, and then we don't really have much of like a very direct follow-up relationship. And sometimes we just get application and we review with the selection committee, and then you provide feedback and go back. But sometimes we notice that a lot of the teams they apply, they actually not really like in that stage to apply. So we've been noticing that there's been like almost like a gap. There's something that we're feeling they needed before when they apply to us. And that's why we decided to do like the Elevate, because we thought that this would be like the perfect solution. So we can also give more support to the developers like before they come to the point to apply to Wings, like to apply to us or even to other people. And then with Elevate, we're going to also be able to have more direct contact with these teams and so on. So I'm just very excited to do that and see like all the projects that we're going to receive, and then be able to meet so many great creators as well. And I guess, Corinna, you will feel that you were ready to go as well? Or?
I mean, I would echo obviously all of this, but yeah, certainly getting some of these projects to a pitch ready state, and helping people to pick up some of those just like business and industry skills in the process. I think these accelerators are really effective proving grounds for your concepts. So I obviously believe in the program that we're running, but in general, these programs are something that, as Eliana said, can help you get to that point where you're ready to talk to a publisher or a funding source, which is sort of what we're all trying to do here, is get diverse teams up in front of those dollars. So yeah, I certainly believe in it. And just on an industry hype note, mobile is very cool right now. Netflix is very cool right now. I'm very excited to be part of a program that is kind of on the I would argue tipping point of blowing up. So I think the opportunities are very real, and for some teams who are in the right stage of their production, this could be like a perfect solution. So I encourage you to apply. Go do it.
I would say that I'm most excited to really see like established projects have the opportunity to really take their projects to the next level. Like everyone else is saying, really get access to that funding, no strings attached, like just have that guided learning, and have a space where they can succeed, but also they can fail and make mistakes, and they'll have the guidance for that. Sometimes developers, might be on this path or this journey, but like having mentors to help guide them along the way is going to be really fantastic for helping them to steer in the right direction. Because when you're doing things on your own for so long, sometimes you're like, oh, should I do this thing? Should I do this thing? And having someone who has that industry experience will really help, I think, a lot of our teams go in the right direction, while having funding as well, which they might otherwise not have access to because they do it as a passion project. So I just think that opportunity is really, really exciting.
Zeg, tell, you have to share as well. What are you excited about?
Of course. I would love to as well. I think the thing I'm most excited about is this is probably going to be one of the longer programs that we've done in quite some time. We haven't had a program go for 4 months, and I just really love watching the cohorts come together and have, these really fun dynamics throughout the entire session. I really like being, there to be able to see, the different ways that, they engage not only with workshops, but also with each other in the Slack channels, having fun. And then, sometimes we even do the occasional fun little social hang where, everyone's obviously busy working on their games, but not everything's just about, getting that final product. It's also the journey there. So I'm very much looking forward to being able to have opportunity to see these, cohorts develop over longer periods of time, and then see how, excited and engaged they get as they go throughout the program. So I'm very excited for that.
Completely agree with that. And if any participants want to share what they're excited about this program, feel free to share in the chat as well. I know, Eliana, you do have to go soon. So, but that was the last community question that we had. If we'd like to, wrap up a little early, that would be totally fine. Thank you all for coming. If you have any additional questions, feel free to email us or reach out. Let's see, what's the best email for people to send that over to? elevate@wingsfund.me. Awesome. Thank you so much, Segi. And yeah, I'm really excited about this program. Caroline says, echoing Zegi, Code Coven are very good at getting participants in a program to meet each other and get to know each other. Yeah, we love bringing community together. That's one of our favorite things to do, get the coven all together. And yeah, this was a great Q&A. We'll have this recording available for review for later. Lots of information to take in, soak it all up. And yeah, as I said, feel free to email us with any additional questions. We'd be happy to answer them. And with that, we'll wrap up for the day. Thank you all for coming. And yeah, we'll chat again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Look forward to your application.
Yes, apply.